The person who was a constant presence has vanished. You haven't just been broken up with, you've been deleted. That silence is a psychological weapon, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Chapter 1. The Deletion. More than just a breakup. The no-contact rule is a deliberate strategy where one person in a relationship ceases all communication with the other, often without warning, and this differs fundamentally from a normal breakup because it removes the possibility of closure, explanation, or mutual understanding. Closure isn't just a nice-to-have, a therapeutic buzzword. It's a cognitive necessity. It's the brain's way of taking a messy, emotional experience, putting a label on it, and filing it away in the long-term memory cabinet. It allows your mental resources to move on to other things, like remembering where you put your keys or what you're supposed to be doing with your life. A normal breakup, however painful, provides this. It offers a cause and an effect, a reason for the end. It allows your brain to complete the circuit. But a normal breakup is like a book with a sad final chapter. You read it, you see how the story concludes, you cry, you feel the satisfying thud as you close the cover, and you place it on the shelf. The story is complete. The no-contact rule is like reading a fascinating, brilliant book, a story you've invested months or years of your life in. You're racing through the pages, you get to the most intense, heart-pounding cliffhanger imaginable, and then someone snatches the book from your hands, douses it in gasoline, and lights it on fire right in front of you. You don't just see the flames, you feel the heat on your face, you smell the acrid smoke of burning words. You watch your favorite characters turn to ash. The story is over, but your brain is left screaming for the final page. It's a violation of narrative, an information crime. The goal of no contact isn't just to end the relationship, it's to create a profound psychological void, a black hole where a story used to be. It is specifically engineered to make your brain obsess, to short-circuit its need for patterns and conclusions. It turns you into a frantic archaeologist, endlessly digging in the dirt for a fossil that you later realize was never even there. Therefore, to understand its raw power, we first have to understand the specific type of agonizing mental pain it is so perfectly designed to create. Chapter 2. The Anatomy of Torture. Why silence is so loud. The human brain is a pattern recognition machine that despises uncertainty more than almost anything else. It is a prediction engine, constantly trying to build a stable, understandable map of the world. It craves a clear narrative with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And, when a narrative is left brutally incomplete, the brain enters a state of obsessive cognitive dissonance. This is the intensely uncomfortable mental stress of holding two contradictory ideas at once. This person I knew intimately cared for me, and this person has vanished as if I never existed. The static between those two channels is deafening, and your brain will do anything to resolve it, to find a story. Any story that makes sense. But your brain in this state is like a detective showing up to a crime scene with only one single clue, a single misplaced teacup in the middle of an empty room. There's no body, no weapon, no motive, no sign of entry. Just the teacup. The sheer lack of information forces the detective's mind to go into overdrive. They pick up the teacup, examine it from every angle. Was it a message, a warning, a symbol? Soon the detective isn't just investigating, they are hallucinating. They invent 1,000 insane theories, each one more elaborate and consuming than the last, connecting the teacup to international spy rings and ancient curses. The silence doesn't give you peace. It forces your mind to become a 24/7 conspiracy factory, working triple shifts, burning all of its energy, and getting absolutely maddeningly nowhere. This unresolved narrative creates a state of pure psychological torture. Therefore, this pain is viciously amplified by the withdrawal from the relationship's dopamine slot machine, leaving the brain in a state of desperate chemical craving. Many relationships, especially the volatile ones that end in no contact, run on a principle called intermittent reinforcement. This is when rewards, affection, attention, a kind word are given out randomly and unpredictably. It's the single most powerful motivator known to science. It's the mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. You were living with an affection faucet. You never knew when it would turn on, but the unpredictability of it made every single drop feel like a life-saving miracle. Now, the person has not just turned the faucet off. They have ripped the entire plumbing system out of the wall and salted the earth where the house once stood. But your brain is still there, holding a little cup, convinced that if it just waits, analyzes, and obsesses long enough, one more drop will eventually fall. You are in profound neurological withdrawal from the possibility of affection, and that makes the silence feel physically agonizing. Chapter 3. The Power Dynamic. Why it's so brutally effective. In the final sputtering stages of a failing relationship, there is almost always a power struggle, a desperate tug of war for control and validation. By initiating no contact, one person doesn't just win the tug of war, they set the rope on fire and walk away. They unilaterally seize 100% of the power, and they become the sole gatekeeper of all future communication, all potential closure, and all answers. They hold all the cards, and they've left the table. But imagine a tense negotiation between two powerful bordering kingdoms. For months, they've been arguing over territory. Suddenly, one king doesn't just walk away from the negotiating table. He pulls his entire kingdom off the map. It vanishes. The land is still there, but the flags, the people, the castles, gone. The other king is left with his army, his signed treaty, his declaration of war, but there is no one to fight. His power is now utterly meaningless. He can scream into the void, send his messengers to an empty field, but he gets nothing back. The silent king's absence becomes his greatest weapon, a source of absolute, unassailable power. The silent party now controls everything, precisely because they control the one thing the other person wants more than anything in the world, a response. This complete seizure of control makes the silent person incredibly artificially valuable. Therefore, by making themselves scarce, they exploit a fundamental flaw in the human brain. We are wired to place a much higher value on things that are rare or that we might lose. This is the scarcity principle. It's why a limited time offer makes you want to buy something you don't need. The person initiating no contact has turned themselves from a person into a limited edition consumer good. Imagine you have a favorite comfortable old mug. You use it every day. It's chipped, it's stained, it's worth maybe $5. Then one day, it's officially declared the last mug of its kind on Earth. It's now priceless. Museums are calling, billionaires are bidding. It is the exact same cracked, coffee-stained mug it was yesterday, but its perceived value has exploded because of its sudden rarity. The person who went silent hasn't become a better, more desirable partner. They have simply made themselves a limited edition of one. Their silence manufactures an artificial increase in their own perceived worth, hijacking your brain's ancient valuation system and tricking you into feeling like you've lost something irreplaceable. Chapter 4. The Antidote. How to break the spell. The only way to win a game you're being forced to play is to refuse to be a player. The antidote to no contact is not to try and break it with desperate texts or calls. That is playing their game by their rules. The true antidote is to understand its psychological mechanism so you can methodically disarm it from inside your own mind. You must stop being a piece on the board and become the person watching the game from above. Your first tool is to name the game. The moment you can clearly label the experience, this is not a cosmic mystery about my fundamental worthlessness. This is a textbook, manipulative power move called the no contact rule. You immediately begin to reclaim your power. You move from being the victim lost in a horror movie to being the person in the audience who can see the killer behind the curtain. You see the script. It gives your frantic detective brain the one thing it has been screaming for, an answer. It's not the answer you wanted, but it's an answer nonetheless. It's the missing final page. The label itself provides the closure they denied you. This doesn't erase the pain, but it cauterizes the wound of confusion, which is often the most painful part. Your second tool is to reclaim the narrative. The silence has created a vast, empty space in your head, a vacuum. And for weeks, maybe months, you have been diligently filling that void with obsessive thoughts about them, their motives, their feelings, their new life without you. Your brain's precious processing power, your valuable mental real estate, has been occupied by a ghost. The only way to break the spell is to perform a psychic eviction. You must consciously and actively fill that void with yourself. Turn that powerful, obsessive energy back onto your own life. Instead of analyzing their last words, analyze your own future goals. Instead of stalking their social media, start planning your own adventure. Force yourself to become the main character in your own mind again. Their story, for you, is over. It was a book that was burned, so you must pick up a pen and start writing your own. So, the no contact rule isn't just someone ignoring you. It's a silent weapon. A psychological game of chess designed to exploit your brain's deepest, most primal needs for certainty, connection, and closure. But by understanding the rules of the game, you take back the power. You see the silence not as a reflection of your worth, but as a reflection of their strategy. And that knowledge gives you the power to stop waiting for their story to continue and finally start writing your own. If you want to keep decoding the hidden psychology that runs your life, subscribe for more ways to understand and reclaim your own mind. We'll see you next time.